Hey, happy Friday, everybody. I'm News 8 Chief Meteorologist Eric Schneidel. Our usual starting time here tonight, 9:30 on, I can't say it enough, Friday. We have hit the end of the week. Hope everybody is well. Hope a lot of you who aren't working weekends are going to get a chance to enjoy these next couple of days. I have a feeling we're going to be a touch busy going into this weekend in the weather department, not just because we've got snow on the way this weekend, but because we're going to be fine-tuning a forecast for what could be a whole lot more snow as we go into next week. As always, if you're watching us on your handheld device, you can in the comments section give us a quick hello. We'd be happy to give you a shout out. And questions. We love questions. We're happy to answer them as best as we can. Understand that with the early next week's snow, we can't get terribly specific yet, but we'll try to help you out with as much as we can give you here tonight. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you very much. I am 35 years young today, and that is my birthday present, I suppose. We get a chance to have some fun here. This is what we live for in the weather department, a chance to forecast some of this. Hi, Louise. I see you there. Charity, happy Friday. Joan, Katie's doing a little bit better today. You know, she still has these nosebleeds. Katie, she had a concussion last week, and we're slowly but surely trying to heal her up. It's been a little bit of a process here, but definitely not worse, which is encouraging. Hi, Monica, Samantha, I see you. I can scroll on these now. John says, good evening from a frosty Gates. No kidding. It is cold. Beatrix, hello to you. I see Gerardo is here. Danny, hi. Hey, Dan. Fluffy Saturday, Sunday, yeah. There'll be a fluff factor on Tuesday, too. That will probably play into some of the accumulations. Bolt's best friend is joining us tonight. That's Molly. Molly's got her favorite toy, Bolt Baby, with her. I think Molly and Bolt are going to get a chance to see each other this weekend. We're looking forward to that. And, all right, I think I've kind of run the gamut here. Thank you, Don. Very nice of you. All right, so enough about me. Let's talk weather. Let's talk snow. That conversation starts tonight with what is a weakening band of lake effect. And not your traditional band of lake effect. Instead of going west to east, this time it continues east to west, a little bit of a reverse setup. Some of those lake effect snow showers work their way into parts of Niagara County. We continue to note that there has been still some light snow as we get into parts of Orleans, and we're in the lakeside part of Orleans. We're talking around 18, Lyndonville, Carlton, toward the Kendall community, but a lot of that is wound down from where it was a few hours ago. Katie reporting still a few flurries here lakeside as we get just west of Irondequoit Bay, despite the fact radar not allowing that to show up. That's the deal. This lake effect is a few thousand feet high. You jump above a few thousand feet, those clouds, those snowflakes shut off. Remember how radar works. That radar beam from Buffalo goes up at an angle. The farther out you go, the higher up that beam gets, and eventually by the time it gets to Rochester, that beam is largely above any weather. And you've heard the term flying under the radar. That is quite literally what is occurring in this particular case. Now let's zoom way off to the southwest. I'm going to take you to the Lone Star State of Texas. See all that blue? Those are winter storm watches. Counties in pink, winter storm warnings. They have winter storm watches going all the way up to the border of Texas and Mexico. Okay? You know how many winter storm watches Rochester has had all winter? None. We have not had a single one. There's been more winter storm watches right there adjacent to Mexico than we've had in western New York. I doubt we're going to be able to make that statement for much longer. That's just my suspicion. You see some of those winter storm watches now. The swath is expanding, and you're going to see it expand further. They only issue these watches so far out ahead of time. You've got to get within a certain window. And for now, we're outside of it in western New York. I think as early as tomorrow, certainly by Sunday, our friends at the National Weather Service are going to have to make a call here, too, on maybe needing to hoist some winter storm watches locally. And that would not at all surprise me if that ended up becoming necessary. But that's not going to be for the snow going into the weekend. That would be for the snow into the early part of next week. Future view tonight. Keep an eye on that straggler of a lake effect band. I think it has a little bit more legs to it as we go into the morning. It might try to re-energize a bit. Same premise, though. It's going to hug the lakeshore. I don't see it extending much. I doubt it even drops south of 104. So if you live south of 104, which is a lot of you, chances are you don't have a whole lot of snow to contend with until late in the day on Saturday. So most of the day tomorrow stays dry. It's very cold. Light snow will start to work its way in, gradually building from light to moderate. After dark especially, into Saturday evening and Saturday night. This is going to be storm number 1 of 3, and likely the weakest one of the 3, the appetizer, if you will. to perhaps 2 rounds of entrees next week, depending on how things play out. Light to moderate stuff will continue as we go into Saturday night. Note the wind flow out of this. You got a little bit of a lake enhancement component, but not that much. And truth be told, I'm not overly aggressive with snow totals out of this one. I think a lot of you will fall in a generic blanket of 1 to 3. We can segment that a bit more specific. South of the thruway, it's more 1 to 2. You might get a 2 to 4 north of the thruway. Somebody might come in with 5 inches, but I get the feeling the 5-inch reports are going to be few and far between. A lot of you are 2 to 4 with this. It's not an overall aggressive system at all, but it will provide a fresh few inches. Again, not that we necessarily need it. Everybody's got a really good snowpack right now. Now, why a lot of you are here. We're going to talk some of the latest here with early next week's snowstorm potential. And we've been saying this now for a few days, and we're still in this mode here. How forecasting works, particularly with regard to modeling. We only have so many computer models that go out into the time frame of Monday and Tuesday. And the ones that do tend to not be of very high resolution. So once we get into tomorrow, the weekend, we will end up opening up a suite of guidance that will allow us to sample some more specific elements out of this. Right now, all we can kind of give you is we know generically where the low is going to track. We know historically what that tends to produce, but we don't really get much of a sample of small-scale features like banding of snowfall. Is there going to be some lake enhancement potential? A lot of little things that could up or lower snowfall prospects out of this. So that is my caveat with this, that this early in the game, there are very much still avenues where this forecast can be subject to change, both going up in snow amounts and having to pull them back. So take a lot of this with a grain of salt. Confidence increases dramatically as we go into the weekend. Monday morning, Monday's an interesting day here. Monday is not really the primary wave, but we've got this zone that could kick off some light, maybe even some moderate snow showers through the day on Monday. Accumulations out of that would likely be minimal, but they will count toward the overall total. And you might even get a break. Note what happens here briefly late Monday night until the primary low starts to eject here, likely out of the state of Alabama, and then we'll start darting up the Appalachian chain, maybe toward New England. And that's another element here. Where exactly does that low want to go? Do we see a little split, a little transfer of energy out of that? But the notion is still holding true. Snowfall will pick up again in coverage and intensity going into Monday night, and then perhaps through a good amount of the day on Tuesday. Now, the model that I am showing you is the European. Anybody who watches this knows that we tend to put a decent amount of faith in the Euro versus other models, but it is not foolproof. It is not perfect, but is our model of choice for the time being. Snow on the backside wraps up with maybe some lake effect late Tuesday into early Wednesday. That was a long window of snow, what I just showed you, from Monday through most of the day on Tuesday. And you had some deep blues in there. Now, I'll show you this. This is the European guidance outlook of snow totals. Not from now through Tuesday, just from Monday through Tuesday. So keep in mind, what you're looking at here would be on top of the snow that we get into the weekend. Is this how it's going to play out? Maybe. Certainly not necessarily guaranteed. I think there's a lot of things out there that make a good amount of sense to me. And the idea that we're going to have a plowable snow, that confidence is going up, up, up. Are we going to see a foot of snow in Rochester? You know, that part is some of the stuff we'll try to button up as we go into the weekend. What can go wrong with this? The low could track a little too far east. It would end up taking most of the heavy snow and depositing it more here. And then there would be a lot less over here. You know, maybe even to the tune of 3 to 6 inches. That's not impossible. I don't know that I'd call that the most likely solution, but for what it is worth, we show you the European model out of this. So let's talk probabilities here. Let's talk odds of how this might play out. It's a different way of looking at this, I suppose. And, you know, just because the Euro says something, it may keep saying it. It may not change for the next 24 hours. But I'll tell you this, on a Friday night, if I see a map that says a foot versus what I see it again on Saturday night for Monday, Tuesday, my odds are going up even though it's showing the same thing. And that is just because we're getting closer. We're seeing more agreement. We're seeing more consistency. All of those things are important in how we advertise a forecast. So with that in mind, because we are still several days out with that, odds of at least an inch of snow, slam dunk. 3 inches of snow, Slam dunk. Odds of at least a half a foot out of this. Pretty darn high. We're calling them moderate, but it's looking increasingly likely. There is a realistic prospect here that this could be a foot snowstorm if the track is just right. If the track is just right. But you note the ceiling on this is a lot higher than the one we got going into the weekend. That's a big takeaway I want to leave here. We're calling it 1-2 with those storms. The 1 is really not that big of a problem at all. The 2 has a much higher ceiling. Yes, there is a 3 out there. The 3 is a little bit faster arriving now that we've seen. The 3 seems to favor more Thursday and Thursday night than Friday, but you know that can waffle back and forth a little bit. The 3 may have a higher propensity for perhaps a wintry mix getting involved. The European keeps this all snow and actually has some of the heavier snow pulling east of Rochester. The GFS is a lot more aggressive and a lot more west. The GFS would suggest starting off as snow and then likely transitioning to a period of sleet and freezing rain, which I don't want to see. GFS even suggests parts of the area might briefly go all rain before some snow on the backside. So the GFS it's a mess. That would be a dicey setup there. The Euro is not quite on the wintry mix front, but there are obviously significant enough differences in those tracks here that, you know, it's just not prudent for us to get too specific or detailed into that because we're not there. We're going to take these one step at a time, but we do continue to advertise there will be a third out of this, and the potential is certainly there for that third to also be significant, depending on how all of that goes. All right, let's see here. This is my favorite part, getting to read some of these comments. Uh-oh, Adrian says, no snowstorm, please. Adrian, we really haven't had one yet. We're kind of due for that. Rick says, when is your best guess of the approximate last day of this, this winter nonsense and a warm spring making an appearance? Asking for a friend. It ain't going to happen in the next couple of weeks, Rick. When that day happens, I don't know for sure, but I do know when it's not going to happen, and that'll be for the next at least 10 to 14 days. Barb, you are correct. We are paying for that nice January weather. James is not a fan. James says, tired of the snow, make it stop. Ashley, so the win out of this, again, there's 3 systems. The first one is going to be this weekend, Saturday into Saturday night. It is weak. Couple of inches is kind of the general ballpark. Monday, and then especially Monday night, Tuesday, is the possibility for a much bigger deposit of snow. And then we've got another one, Thursday into Thursday night. That is the 3 out of this. Monica, I am with you. I would much prefer to just throw the GFS out the window. Hey, Mike, congratulations to your brother. Mike says brother's getting married on Valentine's Day, Sunday. Well, wish him the best. Congratulations to him. Did you guys all see our buddy James Gilbert? If you don't follow James on Facebook and Twitter, give him a follow. James and his beautiful wife, Lauren, welcomed a new baby into the world a couple of days ago. Mason Gilbert is now joining us here. So we joked a little bit with John Kutchko at 4 o'clock. We got an extra chair here in the Weather Center 20 years from now for Mason to follow in Dad's footsteps. And if he's half like his dad, that'll be plenty good enough for us. We'd be happy to welcome him. So we congratulate James. We congratulate Lauren as well. Both baby and mom are happy and healthy, as James reports it. So wonderful news on every front in that regard. Yeah, kind of, David. I don't know. To me, it's like if a foot of snow is a snowstorm to me. It's kind of a relative thing. I guess for some folks, maybe 6 inches would do it. For others, maybe it's more. Maybe it's more like 1.5 feet. But that's for me in my mind. If I'm going to advertise that word, if I'm going to start talking snowstorm, I need to be pretty darn confident we're going to be looking at a good foot of snow here through a good chunk of the area. Thank you, James. I keep seeing that 35 number, and all I keep reading out of that is I'm halfway to 70. Getting older, man. Stinks, doesn't it? Hi, Linda. Linda's in Cocoa Beach right now. Man, Linda's living the dream. Linda got word about these 3 little snow events here, and she's enjoying herself nice and warm. Yeah, we are too, Tom. The NAM, especially the 3K. It's one of those high-res models that we want to get a look at. The Wharf model goes out 48 hours, so we got some time there. Want to get a look at that guy too. So there's a couple of them out there that this weekend will start to, if not getting you into that time frame, at least giving you an idea. You can kind of extrapolate out of how it might look into that time frame, and all of that data is certainly helpful. Misha, I think Punxsutawney Phil saw the shadow. If my memory is correct, if the groundhog sees the shadow, we get 6 more weeks of winter. So according to the groundhog, we got 6 more weeks of this. Yep. Donna says, give us a blizzard. Oh boy. Donna, you got to be careful with throwing that word around these parts. You're going to get some angry people at you. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. I've taken enough of your time, 15 minutes deep out of this. That's a little longer than we usually do it. As always, we appreciate you watching this. We're going to be back at 11 o'clock here tonight, and there's going to be some new models coming in the next hour. Let's update things at 11 o'clock, see where it goes. I'll see you then.